Hello, dominants and submissives. I'm Master Zahn from Ontario, and today is lecture number 17, Munch, Event, and Party Etiquette. This lecture is a little bit more abstract than some of the others. That's because everyone makes different rules for their munches, events, and parties. Also, there are lots of types of parties, but there are common rules that help to govern them all to keep things going smoothly. A munch is an entry point into the lifestyle. It's a non-play gathering of kinksters of all levels and dynamics, often in a vanilla setting. You go to Munches to start showing your interest in the lifestyle, meet people, start to learn, and get known in your local community. After a time, you would either start to get invites to events and parties, or hear about them and be able to ask the people at the Munches known in the community for references. It's because at events and parties, the people don't like looky-loos or just drop-ins who aren't actually in the lifestyle. Now, for a Munch dress code, everybody who plans a Munch, again, makes their own rules. Things like a dress code can change from town or place, even if the same person is planning it. In my town, where we used to have Munches, the dress code had to be completely vanilla. That was because as soon as the places found out what the group was, they would make us move on. We've since found a good place that accepts the group as it is, although it is starting to get just a little bit small for the size that the group has grown to. The dress code has been turned into if you would wear it to the mall. My slave wife 6 is collared 24/7 and often wears ears, so she wears those when we go to a munch. If you'll notice from my lectures, I'm often wearing a suit. I record in whatever I happen to be wearing that day, so that's what I wear. If somebody had a service maid dynamic and they had a proper and appropriate maid's outfit, they would be welcome to wear that to one of the munches. Although I have met people who, to them, the idea of a collar at a munch was completely unthinkable, that it would be exposing the entire coffee shop to wearing a collar. This person, however, also had that same view for wearing a collar outside the house. Right now, our munches are actually on the brink of an evolution. My town doesn't have events and parties in schools. That's one of the reasons why I'm opening up my school in the spring. Right now, it's free where we go. You don't have to buy a coffee, but it can help the group to buy one, just for the business that the place gets. The coffee shop we go to has an open floor plan, so there's no special seating and no real divides between the areas. Everyone is able to hear us talk, so they know what the group is about. No one has ever complained or moved away from the group. It's actually the exact opposite. We often catch people listening in and smirking and then talking about whatever we're talking about with their friends. And I'm sure that the coffee shop has just come to leave us be for all the business that we keep bringing in every month or two. The normal organizer, although when she's not able to, I've organized a couple, wants to start bringing in people to teach classes, turning the munches into events. But we need a small private rented space for that. So I want to get my school going first, but I am grateful for any chance for people in my town to learn and start bettering themselves. The whole point is to get things going, not me to just get things going. So I find it a little bit annoying. If we can find a place that's good, that we're able to rent, private setting, then the dress code will change. It will allow for a more kinky fashion style or little toys or tools brought with us. In a private setting, the submissives would even be able to be leashed if that's something that their dominant wants. Now, for the actual etiquette, munches are a bit more lax, so for all these rules, try to just use common sense for what you should do at the time. But this is party and event etiquette. There are lots of different types of parties and events, with so many rules that can be in place. and the rules of interaction are very important because they're the base of everything. First and foremost, be respectful. Above all else, respect is how they're going to judge your level and your style and your dynamic. Addressing a dominant of any kind or a submissive, be they owned or unowned, you should always be respectful. Also, if somebody's a submissive, don't talk to another dominant submissive or to a dominant submissive without having permission first. This can be really frowned upon in the lifestyle. Now, if when talking to someone whose title and status you don't know, sir or ma'am is a respectful way to start off a conversation or to address somebody. After they give you their title and their name, or the name of their submissive, be sure that you use that name. That's another way to show respect. Now, when it's an option, always learn someone's name first before going to address them. Never interfere with other people's scenes. The rules, protocols, and punishments that govern your dynamic are only yours. If somebody is being punished or if somebody's playing or anything, don't get involved in their scene. That's not your place. Never judge or kink shame at an event or a party. Not kink shaming is simply you don't put down somebody else's kinks or make fun of them for it. Not judging can be a little bit harder. That's actually accepting somebody and actually accepting their kinks and their dynamic, even if you don't understand it at all. Some people have a problem with daddy dom little girl or owner pet dynamics, and they look at them in a very odd and peculiar way. Like, why would you want your slave to be a dog? Or why would you want your submissive to be a little girl? It's not for you to judge those at an event or party. And if you can't just accept them, don't say anything. It is not the venue, time, or place for you to go criticizing other people's kinks. Keep to yourself. If there's something that you don't like, don't do it. That way it doesn't affect you and you're able to just put it aside. At least you should be if you're there properly. To go to these types of parties and events, you have to actually understand that everybody is unique. The dynamics, the kinks, everything is not yours. And the way that you look at someone is the way that somebody else is looking at you. Now, proper old world etiquette helps as well, although I wouldn't be able to go over that in a single lecture. I took cotillion courses when I was young, so I had a good base for building my views on a BDSM dynamic and lifestyle. Things like order of introduction when you're introducing a group of people, or tiny rules like your hands can be in your pocket, but your thumbs must be left out. Although I am going to go over something from the lifestyle etiquette called the hanky code in the near future. After my school is actually fully running, I will probably start teaching etiquette and manner courses. At that time is when I would start recording videos for them and posting those as well. Now, I know I just said it, but I want to point out one more time that everybody, every dynamic, and every set of protocols and rules that govern those dynamics are unique. Their somebody else's kinks are not your kinks. What to you could be abuse, to another person is a fun, kinky evening. When you're interacting with large groups of people in the lifestyle, it's very important to keep this in mind. Thank you for tuning into this lecture. I'm Master Zahn, and please join me for the next.